Hello, good evening and welcome to the news at 7 on NTA International. I'm Toby Walter Naji. Let's take first headlines. Peaceful coexistence for national development of Nigeria in focus as 59th Independence Anniversary Church Service in Abuja. World Health Day. Cardiovascular diseases still a challenge, just as medical experts worry about cases of malnutrition among children. Plus, federal government makes agriculture now more attractive to youths through capacity building in food production and value chain. Many thanks for tuning in. The thrust of Nigeria's 59th Independence Anniversary Interdenominational Church Service in Abuja was to sustain peaceful coexistence for national development. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo, in his speech titled "The New Nigeria," reassured that all hope is not lost because the Nigeria of God's divine intervention will be plenteous for all. Visionary leadership, selflessness, corrupt-free and tolerant people guarantees the best and new Nigeria that will be better for all.
A Nigeria where justice and equity and fairness shall prevail. A united Nigeria, where the different tribes and tongues are not wedges of separation, but the joyful textures of our togetherness. God is ready to fulfill his promise.
Reverend Daniel Mbaya of EYN admonished Nigerians, especially Christians, to selflessly contribute towards the overall development of Nigeria. Speaking in the same vein, the National President of Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Samson Supo Ayokule, said peaceful coexistence is the panacea for national development.
Freedom is cheap. Our forefathers suffered and gave their lives and their blood even for us to be free as a nation today. Making Nigeria great is our joint responsibility. No one can do it alone, and no institution can do it alone in Nigeria. If you think that it lies with the political institution alone, and religious institution does not have responsibility, the security arm, etc., they don't have responsibility, it will be exercised in futility.
Deputy Senate President Ovie Omoagege read one of the Bible lessons at the service. Among other top dignitaries that admonished Nigerians at the gathering were the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, former Nigerian Head of State and founder Nigerian Praise Project, General Yakubu Gowon. And now to health. Today is World Heart Day, celebrated globally to create awareness around cardiovascular diseases as well as inform people to take care of their heart. The World Health Day aims at drawing attention of people to one of the leading causes of death in the world, with a significant percentage of people in the world suffering from heart diseases like stroke, heart attack and heart failure. The World Heart Federation reveals that at least 80% of premature deaths can be protected by controlling four main risk factors such as unhealthy diet, tobacco use, lack of physical activity, and use of alcohol. It says heart-related problems and death can be solved by active involvement of the people through the campaign of World Health Day. Governments and non-governmental agencies globally create awareness of cardiovascular diseases adjudged world's number one killer of particular theme. No particular theme is decided for each year's celebration in order to focus on the main subject and make it effective. And now, achievement of universal health coverage is hinged on nutrition, which is identified as an essential health package that must be given priority in any society. Experts are, however, worried that the prevalence of stunted growth of under 5-year children in Nigeria still remains the increase despite interventions by the federal government and donor agencies. In this report, Basi Taikman takes a look at the rate of malnutrition in the country.
The first 1,000 days of a child's life offer a unique window of opportunity for preventing undernutrition and its consequences. Investigations show that this opportunity, if grasped with open hands, perhaps could reduce the number of malnourished children in the country.
It is a statement of fact that without nutrition, there's no proper development.
So, what may appear as an economic problem in the next 20 years may actually not be the result of a lack of economic opportunity, but a lack of incapacitation that was caused by malnutrition.
Nigeria is said to be the second highest burden of stunted children in the world, with an estimated 2.5 million children suffering from severe acute malnutrition.
The problem that we need to think through as policymakers across the country.
I've been at the vanguard of advancing nutrition in Nigeria. We believe that all lives have equal value and that everyone deserves all it takes to live a healthy and productive life.
It is said that malnutrition is not a medical problem. The record shows that it is a cause of 45% of all under 5 deaths.
Through no fault of theirs, other than that their cognitive development has been retarded by a lack of attention to nutrition early in their lives.
What should be done?
There's need for us to look at innovations and new approaches so that Nigeria will not fail again in meeting the sustainable development goals.
To achieve success in the reduction of malnutrition prevalence in Nigeria, experts advocate the scaling up of evidence-based interventions using proven contexts and specific modalities. Basi Taikman, NTA News.
And still talking health, a high-level meeting on universal health coverage under the theme "Moving Together to Build a Healthier World" has part of the side events at the ongoing United Nations General Assembly in New York. In this report, health correspondent Rabi Abdullah puts the Nigerian situation in perspective against the clarion call for nations to accelerate progress towards universal health coverage.
Universal health coverage means that all people and communities receive the quality health services they need without financial hardship. Findings, however, show that globally, about 100 million people are pushed into extreme poverty each year because of pocket spending on health. Universal health coverage remains a top priority in the global agenda and an integral part of the Sustainable Development Goals. Hence, the task before nations.
The objective of universal health coverage is to strengthen our health systems, beginning with primary health care. We must continue to work to guarantee healthier lives for everyone.
Although Nigeria has been struggling to join the rest of the world in the quest for universal health coverage as far back as 2005, progress has, however, been quite slow. As 14 years down the lane, the scheme has only been able to meet the needs of less than 5% of Nigeria's population of 200 million people.
Government should review the NHS, make it compulsory.
If I have a big problem like surgery or transplant, at least the health insurance scheme should cover up to that, not just when you're having malaria, typhoid, or all these minor sickness.
However, the demonstration of political will and renewed impetus on universal health coverage on the part of the federal government is rather seen in the implementation of the National Basic Health Provision Fund, which saw the recent disbursement of over 6 billion naira to 15 states and the Federal Capital Territory for states' health insurance scheme.
I want to see NHIS confine themselves to the provisions of the Act to pay for basic minimum package for all Nigerians.
Health is considered to be a human right for everyone at every age. In Abuja, Rabi Abdullah, NTA News.
And away from health now, the British Judge Christopher Boucher on Thursday ruled that Nigeria has the permission to seek to overturn a judgment that that will permit a UK-based private firm, Process and Industrial Development, otherwise known as P&ID, the authority to seize over $9 billion in assets from Nigeria. Anthony Forsen reports.
An Industrial Development Limited is a firm set up to carry out a gas project in Nigeria. It won a $6.6 billion award from an arbitration after the said deal collapsed. From 2013, the $6.6 billion award went up to over $9 billion, and by August this year, a UK commercial court ruled that P&ID can seize Nigeria's assets in the same sum. The federal government of Nigeria, with this development, dispatched a high-powered delegation to the United Kingdom to present its case as to why the commercial court of UK should listen to its side of the story.
We are here strategizing both on the legal and on the PR aspect of the case.
Members of the delegation moved with confidence, armed with facts and figures as to why the UK court should grant its plea.
That borders on fraud, corrupt practices, illegalities, jurisdiction, and the application of law as it relates.
The federal government's delegation settled in the Nigerian embassy for days, counting down to the date of hearing. During this period, the delegation assembled its legal team in the UK and those from Nigeria.
Quite a surprising case. I think the more information that's shared with the investment community in London, the better the government will be able to push back on this quite shocking and disappointing situation.
UK lawyers will be working with the Nigerian government to set aside that judgment, which we believe to be unjust, unfair, and to have been procured using misrepresentation.
Counting down hours to the hearing, there were high hopes of a positive outcome.
Obviously, the people we met here are so taken aback that they've gotten a lot of information that was hitherto not known to them concerning the fraudulent activities of P&ID. And with this narrative, I think the whole world would know that the judgment that was given to them was given based on information that was not made known to the court.
The first time they had, and the same actors involved in P&D were also in the IFCO judgment. Yes, the same people. And they had a lot of companies. They have series of chef companies. P&ID itself is a chef company that does not have any road.
It gives Nigeria an opportunity to meet members of the international community to tell our own story about the fraud that the P&ID was all about.
Then the hearing date. After 2 hours, Judge Baker adjourned for another 1.5 hours. In the end, he ruled and granted Nigeria's request for a stay on any asset seizure while the legal challenges is pending.
We are studying the ruling from that perspective, from the perspectives of compliance, from the perspectives of the law, from the perspectives of available remedies to us.
What this means is that we can no longer be harassed by P&ID. At least in the next 60 days when we would have been able to meet the cost condition.
Anthony Forsen, NTA News.
To other stories now, Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello says he is adopting the United Nations Education for Justice Initiative tool aimed at reinforcing the capacity of teachers. The state governor Abubakar Sani Bello says his administration has designed its master plan, which focuses on sustainable education, peace and partnership for the socio-economic well-being of the state.
At the end of this intervention, we're able to come up with a solution or way forward for interested NGOs or states or government on how to interface with some of the organizations and how to work together to get some results going forward. But like I said, as part of the global program for the implementation of the Doha Declaration, we are prepared as a state to adopt the Education for Justice initiative as tools, materials and products aimed at reinforcing the capacity of teachers and educators to build young people that will lead to change in their professions, communities, and
United Nations Office of Drug and Crime raised concern over youth's involvement in crime worldwide. It estimates that more than 1.8 billion population of youths are involved in one crime or the other, with over 50% of them under 23 years of age. To this end, the UN body identified an adequate and quality education solution to the menace. Now, the federal government is providing an enabling environment for youth participation in all aspects of agricultural value chain towards reducing joblessness and poverty among them. Musa Babali reports that young agriculturists will be empowered to produce, package and market their products and for international market.
Working in an environment like this, clearing of weed and tilting the soil are some of the factors discouraging youth to go into farming activities. And those who want to go into selling and marketing of agricultural produce are often discouraged with setting of the local markets as well as the activities of middlemen. But all these are beginning to change as the federal government, through the Ministry of Agriculture, is introducing a platform that stimulates the interest of youth for farming. This platform includes introduction of technology that allows farming and marketing of produce without stress.
And if you go around the world now, you see a lot of Nigerian products being repackaged by other West African countries and being sold as their products. So we feel that we have to support these young women with the facilitation and training on how they can package, brand, and of course provide market access for them.
These youths are taking advantage of that as they engage in the production and selling of food items and beverages that are often not found in superstores. Items like potash, dry spinach, hibiscus known as zobo, and dry baobab leaf called kuka in Hausa language. 25 years old Hafsatu Usman is into processing of seasoning. She says her target is international markets.
Hausa food, and most people like it, but they don't know where to get it. So even the zobo powder, it's easy. That's why we choose zobo powder.
Abubakar Audu, a youth corps member serving in Abuja, is into cassava flakes, that is gari. He buys, packages and sells.
I know like much people into it, so there are a lot of opportunities for the youth to tap into it to create wealth and also boost the economy.
With this platform, these young entrepreneurs will be linked with Standard Organization of Nigeria and other regulatory agencies for standardization to make their products fit for export. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
All right, you're still watching the news on NTA International. We'll take a break and right back with the rest of the stories.
Hey, you! And are you how they talk to? I sabi you now. It's in your mind, Abi. The person with them go help us. Baba Toros and Shagalo. Oga Legova, Mr. Sabi. And you know if we carry last for this one. Spear into the top corner. We Sabi say Peking will crawl before in waka. So don't look, no help anybody. No dolly, no. So go for her. Go for football. Go for Osirio on the Liga Marchings live. Go for GoTV Max.
Thanks for tuning in. And now a little on politics. Monday, September 30th is set as deadline for the collection of permanent voter cards in Kogi State. INEC says only 7,000 out of the 170,000 eligible voters who registered the continuous voter registration exercise have so far picked up their cards. Charles Alpha reports.
Their civic rights of voting in an election, and since the 2011 election, the use of PVC has been a major upgrade in the Nigeria's electoral process. Because of its importance in any election, registered voters, INEC, and other key players strive to ensure the cards are collected after registration and production. According to INEC, there are more than 1.6 million registered voters in Kogi State going into the governorship election in November. After the 2019 general election, more than 170,000 uncollected cards were still with the commission in the state. In order to guarantee more participation, INEC announced sometime last month that it would commence redistribution of permanent voter cards from 2nd to 30th of September. Well, that deadline is here, and the question is, how many of these cards have been collected so far?
So before the exercise for the issue of permanent voters cards commenced, we had a total of 470,664 uncollected permanent voters cards. And as in the third week, we've only been able to issue 7,044 cards. And so that state the response is still very poor.
In the process of collection, some persons could neither find their names nor cards.
I don't see my picture.
Now, with just a fraction of the over 170,000 cards collected, is INEC planning to extend the deadline to enable more persons collect their cards? And if not, what is the fate of those who could not get their cards before the September 30th deadline?
Yeah, the Commission hasn't taken a decision to extend, but that's unlikely, considering the fact that we make preparations for elections. We need to commit our staff to other preparations for the whole series of trainings, which generally involve some of those staff together because of the exercise they've had to go to issue the cards. And so, if the Commission decides that we should extend, because we have to do that, that looks very unlikely.
About 44% of total registered voters in the state, according to INEC, turned out in the last general election. It is hoped that number will increase, given the number of cards collected so far. In Lokoja State, Charles Alpha, NTA News.
And President Muhammadu Buhari felicitates with Osun State Governor Gboyega Oyetola on his 61st birthday. The President wishes Governor Oyetola good health, sound mind, and more years of purposeful and visionary leadership for the good people of Osun State and Nigeria. In a message by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the President commends him for his determination to improve infrastructure, social services, human and capital development in Osun. He implores him to execute all the programs of the All Progressives Congress, as well as fulfill his campaign promises to the electorate. President Buhari charges the governor to use the special occasion of his 65th anniversary as another privilege and opportunity to rededicate himself to do more service to God and humanity. And now for stories that made headlines globally, let's join Obiageli Ugwoke.
Hello there, it's glad to have you join us on The World in 6 days. We begin with Rwanda, where 66 migrants who were stranded in camps in Libya arrived in the country. They are the first group to be relocated following an agreement between the Rwandan government, the UN Refugee Agency and the African Union. Rwanda has agreed to take in more than 500 migrants who were trapped in dangerous conditions in Libya while trying to reach Europe. The UN says the first group includes many unaccompanied children, single mothers and families, some of whom are from the Horn of Africa. The youngest passenger was a 2-month-old girl born to Somali parents. The UNHCR said the migrants who were being transferred on a voluntary basis will be staying at Gashura Transit Center, about 55 kilometers south of the capital, Kigali. And in Democratic Republic of Congo, more than 800,000 children have been vaccinated after a measles outbreak killed more than 3,500 people this year. The World Health Organization and the Congolese government carried out emergency immunity program across the country. In slightly more than a week, the World Health Organization says the epidemic is the world's largest and fastest moving. It has killed more Congolese people this year than Ebola. Despite previous rounds of immunizations, the disease has spread to every part of the country. Lack of routine access to vaccinations and healthcare has contributed to the problem. Moving on, Jacques Chirac, former French president, died Thursday, aged 86. The former French leader served 2 terms as president and took his country into the single European currency. One of his major political reforms was to cut the presidential term of office from 7 to 5 years. In the meantime, 3 suspects accused of plotting to overthrow the government in Ghana have been charged to court. They were arrested last week and accused of plotting to target the presidency with the aim of taking over government. The Ministry of Information said several weapons were found during a raid. At the court in the capital, Accra, the 3 suspects were charged with conspiracy to commit crimes as well as illegally manufacturing firearms explosives.
Thank you very much, Obiageli. And now talking sports, Nigeria's Divine Oduduru places 4th in 200 meters in Heat 1 at IAF World Championship in Doha after cleared by IAAF. Kene Imabodike has details on our sports stats.
Nigeria's Divine Odudu and Blessing Okabore Ihote Guno are still firmly in contention at the ongoing World Athletics Championships in Doha, Qatar, following the acceptance of an appeal by the Athletics Federation of Nigeria, AFN, to the International Association of Athletics Federations, IAAF, over the breach of rules in the entry of both athletes. A statement released in Doha Sunday evening by the chairman, AFN Media Committee, Amanzi Marcus, deeply appreciates the concerns of all while calling on Nigerians to pray for the team's success at the championships. Minister of Youth and Sports Development, Sunday Dare, has restated the commitment of the President Administration to restore the past glory of all stadia in the country. Ayomiku Ajibola reports that the minister, who said this during the inspection tour of facilities at the 59-year-old Obafemi Awolowo Stadium, Ibadan, emphasized on maintenance as key to the development of the sector.
I've seen the indoor sports, I've seen the main ball, I've seen the swimming pool, I've seen the training pitches. I think that we need to bring this place back to work.
The Nigeria Referees Association Saturday at the main bowl of Moshood Abiola National Stadium, Abuja, held a one-day FIFA listing physical test. The report of the exercise, which features 7 male assistant referees as well as 3 female center referees,